All right, our next piece of breaking news comes into you from Tamil Nadu. These are dramatic visuals that are coming in. These are visuals of Neyveli, which is a small town in Tamil Nadu, where the PMK, which is the Patali Makal Kachi, it's a party. It's staging protests against the NLC following the arrest of a leader from the party. The cadre is pelting stones at police vehicles. Police are using lathi charge to disperse the crowd. There has, we're learning, been some violence. The PMK cadres are staging a protest. And as you can see, I'm just going to stay silent for a second so you can take in these visuals. My colleague Purnima is also going to join us. Remember, this entire controversy is over the land acquisition by the Neyveli Lignite Corporation. It's all taking place in Tamil Nadu. The NCIL plans to set up mines and exploit the lignite reserves in this area. Now, let's go over to my colleague Purnima to understand more. There have been massive protests by local farmers and residents. Purnima, over to you.
So, as you can see, dramatic scenes unfolded in Cuddalore district, right outside the Neyveli Lignite Corporation, where the political party PMK had, in fact, staged a protest against the land acquisition by NLC. Remember, the land acquisition by Neyveli Lignite Corporation is happening for the second day. Because of the protest, the land acquisition processes did not take place. And when in fact, the leader of Patali Makal Kachi, Anbumani Ramadoss, was being detained by the police or arrested by the police, the cadre tried to pelt stones at the police vehicles. And after that, in fact, the police had used lathi charge to disperse the crowd. Dramatic scenes unfolded right outside the NLC. Remember, in Cuddalore, the PMK has a sizable vote bank, and therefore these protests by political parties will be significant ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. But when the leader was detained, the cadre in fact tried pelting stones, and then violence broke out. And then to disperse the crowd, the police had used lathi charge. The dramatic scenes unfolded at the protest site right outside the NLC.
Okay, just stay with us, please, Purnima. I have our colleague Murli, who's also with us right now, and Mugilan, who's also with us right now. And Mugilan will bring us context on this entire story. Mugilan, if you could just tell our audiences, we're focusing right now on the Neyveli area, and it's an area that has one of the largest lignite deposits in the entire country. These are protests that have been taking place for more than a year now. Can you bring our audiences some of the background context here to understand?
We saw these protests once again taking center stage this week after NLC started taking over the land as per the agreement that was signed by we have seen since Monday NLC have started the work of cutting trenches, and the farmers were opposing the works that are being taken by the NLC. The farmers also have sought the time from the NLC at least 1 month to finish their harvest, but we have seen NLC going forward with their work. This is a work that has been done in 1,500 meters, that is 1.5 kilometers, where they are cutting trench. Now the farmers are up against it. They say that they cannot take over the land, but NLC maintains that this is land that has been taken over by the NLC 10 years ago. Required compensation has been already paid to the farmers, and the agreement was signed 10 years ago, and they're just going by the agreement. But the farmers are not ready to go by it. They say that the land acquisition cannot happen, and we have seen PMK today stage protest there. And right as soon as the arrest of PMK MP and the leader Anbumani Ramadoss, we have seen stone pelting from the cadres of PMK, and in the visuals also you can see there are several police personnel who have injured in this incident. And as soon as the stone pelting have started, we have seen police resorted to lathi charge, and we are even seeing the visuals of water cannon that's been used against the cadres to disperse from the location. And now the cadres who are at NLC demand that Anbumani Ramadoss, their leader, should be released immediately, and the work should immediately stop. And in the visuals we can see the PMK cadres are marching, and they are demanding the release of their leader. And even the senior leaders in PMK have appealed the cadres to disperse from the location. They have not. They continue to march. They continue to demand that the Anbumani Ramadoss should be immediately released.
Okay, let me just give our audiences a little context here. This entire controversy is around lignite, which is a form of brown coal that's used normally to generate electricity. Now, I'm going to go over right now to Narayan Tirupati. He's with us from the BJP. He's with us to bring us more context on what the opposition perspective on this issue is. This is obviously unraveling in Tamil Nadu, where the DMK government is running the show. Let's go over to Narayan Tirupati to understand more. Mr. Tirupati, the main contention of the protesters on the ground, farmers largely, is that the compensation that they received, the numbers that were calculated, those were numbers calculated in 2006. Price rise, etc., means that those numbers and the kind of compensation they receive needs to be renegotiated. But sir, the government says they're doing their best. The government is also saying that the land was acquired in a phased manner, not in one go, and that these are protests that could have taken place earlier. These claims that farmers are making could have been raised earlier. To that, sir, what does the BJP have to say?
See, as far as this issue is concerned, it is the total mismanagement and administrative failure of the DMK government. They all know what is going to happen, and in spite of knowing all these things, they kept quiet till this kind of protests have erupted. So definitely, I blame the DMK government. Now they may say so many things, but whatever they sow, they have to, take it back. They were the ones to, regularly oppose these things when they were not in power. Now, when they are in power, they are trying to see so many things. See, that is the reason. So it is totally the mismanagement and the dual standards, the double standards of the DMK government that has led to the situation. In spite of knowing this huge crowd will be there, the DMK government should have been ready. They should have faced it properly. And unnecessarily, the violence have come here, and it is mismanagement of the DMK government only.
Okay, sir, I just want to ask you, the reason that the DMK government and the NLCL are giving is they're saying that the taking over of this land is very much procedurally required. It's something that's needed for the growth of industries in the state. I'm not agreeing with them, sir, but I am asking them, that's a reason that has been quoted by the BJP government multiple times across the country in similar cases. So what does the BJP have to say there then?
See, first of all, we need to understand what has happened. Okay, the government officials last week claimed that it was the NLC which always, acquire lands of the people. Okay. But it is not so. It is the state government which acquires the land and clears it for the NLC or whatever the industry it is coming. But unfortunately, the state government, you would have seen last week, in fact, I had a word with the NLC chairman also. So he was very clear that it was the state government which would have done all these things. So the entire blame now goes to the state government. Definitely, the state government should not have allowed this far. If they had, acquired the land, definitely they should have taken it and assured the farmers that they will get the compensation, which they have not done. That is why I said this is the mismanagement of the state government.
Okay, and sir, do tell me though, if the DMK say that it is hypocritical for the BJP to be saying this, what would your party's reply be then?
I don't understand. What is it?
If the DMK says it's hypocritical for the BJP to be doing this, for the BJP to be saying this, they've done similar in multiple states across the country where they've given the same reason, industrial growth being the reason for taking over land. So then what is the BJP's reply going to be?
See, first of all, the government was not very clear about the land holding and the agriculture farming which has taken place there. So that is the main reason. That is what our president said, that there should not be any harm to the farming land. But the government was not very clear, saying that about the accusation happened. Now only the government, the collector comes and says that these lands were acquired 10 years back. Then last 2 years, what you were doing? That is what they are asking. So it is the mismanagement. That is why I said this is the mismanagement and administration failure of the DMK government. We need to understand growth is definitely important, but you have let people there for a very long time, and now suddenly you come and say you should not do farming. That is the problem.
Okay.